The morning everything changed started off like any other. I was in the kitchen making coffee, wearing the same faded robe I'd owned for years, my hair still in a messy bun from the night before. The house was quiet, except for the hum of the refrigerator and the occasional creak of the wood floors beneath my slippers. My name is Natalie Carson, and up until that morning, I had tried everything to keep my marriage together, for the sake of our son, Jacob. Jacob was 21. Bright, driven, and fiercely loyal. He had inherited his father's sharp jawline and deep brown eyes, but none of his selfishness. My husband, Mark Carson, was the kind of man who could charm a room with a single smile, and manipulate a heart with the same ease. I had fallen for him in college, and for years, I believed in the picture-perfect family we pretended to be. But lies, no matter how deeply buried, always find their way to the surface. It was Jacob who uncovered the truth. I didn't know it at the time, but he had started noticing things. Mark's late nights, the vague explanations, the sudden business trips that seemed too convenient. It wasn't until he caught a glimpse of Mark kissing someone in a car parked 2 blocks from our home that everything came crashing down. He didn't tell me right away. Instead, he followed Mark for days, recording phone calls, tracking locations. He gathered it all, not because he was curious, but because he wanted to protect me. When he finally sat me down that night, I remember how his hands trembled. He was trying to be strong for me, but his voice cracked as he whispered, "Mom, he's been cheating on you." I stared at him, frozen, as he showed me the photos on his phone. There was no denying it. Mark, in broad daylight, holding hands with a woman I didn't even recognize. They looked comfortable, like it wasn't the first time. I felt a hollowness in my chest that words can't describe. I remember nodding silently, tears pooling in my eyes but refusing to fall. Jacob reached out and held my hand tightly. "You don't deserve this," he said. "You never did." That night, I didn't sleep. I lay awake replaying every moment over the last year, every lie I had accepted, every red flag I had dismissed. I wasn't just heartbroken. I was angry. And I wasn't alone. Jacob took it upon himself to confront Mark, not with violence or rage, but with something far more powerful, truth and consequences. The next day, he invited Mark over, telling him I had cooked dinner and wanted to talk. Mark arrived with his usual smug smile, carrying a bottle of wine as if that would make everything right. He had no idea what was waiting for him. We sat at the table, a full dinner untouched before us. I remained quiet while Jacob did the talking. He pulled out his phone, played recordings, showed messages, photos, all neatly organized. Mark's smile vanished. His face turned pale, his hands trembled. He tried to defend himself, but Jacob didn't let him. "You think you can do this to my mom and walk away like nothing happened?" he said, voice firm. "You think you can just lie, cheat, and pretend we wouldn't find out?" Mark stood up, pacing, trying to regain control. "It's complicated, Jacob," he muttered. "Marriage is complicated." Jacob scoffed. "No, Dad. It's actually pretty simple. You made vows, and you broke them. You chose her. You made a family, and then you betrayed it." For a brief moment, I saw guilt flash across Mark's face. But guilt doesn't erase actions. Jacob wasn't done. He leaned forward, locking eyes with the man who had once been his hero. "You don't get to come back from this just because you feel sorry now," he said. "You hurt her. You lied to her for months. And now, you're going to face the truth." Over the next week, Jacob made it his mission to protect me, not just emotionally, but financially and legally. He helped me get in touch with a lawyer. He gathered documents, tracked expenses, and ensured I had everything I needed to file for divorce. Mark tried calling. He sent flowers. He even showed up at my workplace once, begging for another chance. But the damage was done. What Mark hadn't expected was how public it would become. Jacob posted a carefully written message on social media, outlining the truth. Not the private, intimate details, but enough to make sure no one saw Mark as the perfect husband anymore. The post went viral among friends and family. Mark's carefully curated image cracked, and for the first time, he faced the shame he had so easily avoided. In the days that followed, something surprising happened. I didn't feel broken anymore. I felt empowered, strong, supported. Friends reached out, neighbors checked in. And through it all, Jacob never left my side. He was more than a son. He was my defender, my friend, my source of strength. Mark, on the other hand, spiraled. He lost contracts, business relationships soured, and even the woman he had cheated with ended things. I later learned she had no idea he was married. When she found out, she was furious. The perfect life Mark had built on lies fell apart, one truth at a time. I found myself laughing again, genuinely, freely. Jacob and I started going on small weekend trips. We even took a short vacation to the coast, just the two of us, where we walked the beach at sunset and talked about the future. I could see him healing too. For so long, he had blamed himself for not seeing the signs earlier, for not protecting me sooner. But I told him the same thing every time. He did everything right. Months passed. The divorce was finalized. I kept the house, and Jacob moved in for a while, just to be there. We painted the walls, changed the furniture, replaced every trace of the life we had before. It was like breathing new air. Then one day, Mark showed up again. It was nearly a year after the confrontation. He stood at the door, older somehow, more tired. He asked if we could talk. Jacob was at work, and I considered turning him away. But I let him speak. I just wanted to say I'm sorry, he said. For everything. I've lost more than I can ever explain. I nodded. That's the thing about trust. Once it's broken, you don't just lose love. You lose everything attached to it. He looked down, then back at me. Jacob. He made me realize what I had done. I don't think I'll ever forgive myself. You don't have to, I said softly. Because I already did. But that doesn't mean I want you back. It just means I'm free now. He left without another word. That night, Jacob came home, and I told him about the visit. He looked concerned, ready to protect me all over again. But I smiled and shook my head. It's over, I said. He regrets it. And you made sure of that. Jacob smiled too. Good. Because you deserve better. Today, I'm in a new chapter of my life. I work at a non-profit, something I've always wanted to do. I volunteer, paint, travel. I've even gone on a few dates. I don't need to rush into anything. I've learned that my worth isn't defined by being a wife, but by being myself. And Jacob, well, he's finishing law school now. He said he wants to help people like me, people who stayed too long, who didn't know they had options. I couldn't be prouder. My son didn't just make my husband regret cheating on me. He reminded me of my strength, of who I was before the lies and betrayal. He showed me that love, real love, isn't about perfection. It's about loyalty, truth, and having someone who stands by you when the world falls apart. And in that way, he gave me back my life.